ESBR Boxing. We are back, myself and Paul Kelly. That means only one thing. That means we're in preview mode. Joined again this week for, I think, well, what's become an endorsement really of a good scrap, a good fight, which is the fact that we're here talking about a British title fight, British middleweight fight that's taking place between Nathan Heaney and Brad Pauls on the 16th of March in the Resorts World Arena in Birmingham. Paul, thank you for joining me as always. We like to get straight into it, don't we? When we come to these previews, don't like to beat around the bush too much. So we're going to, rather than sort of going too much about records and CVs, etc., we're going to go into a bit of a tough opening question, Paul. I'm going to ask you actually for a kind of review, really, of the British middleweight scene, and ask you where you think Nathan Heaney ranks in comparison to, I suppose, other fighters. If you're thinking about maybe someone like Eubank Jr., Smith, Shiraz, your man Tyler Denny, Paul. Where do you think Nathan Heaney ranks currently in the British middleweight scene, please?
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. It's a good question. I think it's an interesting one for me because had you have asked me this, in October, for example, before Nathan Heaney fought Denzel Bentley, I don't even know if I would have had him in the top 10, maybe just fringe top 10 of British Nathan Heaney. Then he goes and puts on that performance against Denzel Bentley as a huge underdog, and it wasn't like he just nicked it; like he boxed so well that night in beating Denzel Bentley. And you think, do you know what? Fair play to him. He's right. I don't have him on the level, obviously, of your Eubank Juniors, your Liam Smiths. Liam Smith, obviously, former world champion. Eubank Junior, an esteemed fighter as well. Even Hamza Shiraz, recently looking destructive and looking like he could become a world champion in the not so distant future. But I have Nathan Heaney not too far behind them. I, of course, have Tyler Denny above him, and I'm being biased because Tyler Denny is my boy. But at the same time, he does actually have the European title. Tyler Denny, Nathan Heaney's obviously got the British title, so you've just kind of maybe got the European just a bit above the British, of course. So yeah, I think that if you're actually going to rank it and looking at his middleweight counterparts domestically, I maybe have him 5, 6 somewhere like that. Nathan Heaney. But you kind of look at it and you think Eubank Jr. and Smith right now are probably the two a good bit head and shoulders above everybody else. Then for me, you've got your Hamza Shiraz, Tyler Denny, Nathan Heaney, Kieran Conway, people kind of on that level. So yeah, I do have him up there, mate. It surprised me against Denzel Bentley. So yeah, big respect for Nathan Heaney. Didn't perhaps think he was that good, but you know what? If you're the British champion and you're knocking on the door for some more huge fights in 2024, then yeah, I've got to have you right up there as one of the best in Britain.
You know what, Paul? I actually can't disagree, and I think you've actually shown some great discernment there in your discussion as well around Tyler Denny. It's been accused, you've been accused occasionally, unfairly in my mind, of getting carried away sometimes with fighters, but I don't think you have there, Paul. I think you actually said it very eloquently and accurately. I think Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Smith. I still have those both above Hamza Shiraz, even though we saw what Shiraz did to Williams recently. But again, that version of Williams, I still feel like Hamza Shiraz needs to maybe even fight someone like a Eubank Jr. or Williams to actually see where he is. I still feel like we don't really know based on that performance. So I still have those as the top three. And then I'd actually have Nathan Heaney and Tyler Denny intertwined there, depending on how you want to look at it. I would again probably have your man Tyler Denny just above, like you mentioned, European versus potential British. So that's how I'd have it. I'd have Nathan Heaney actually at five. But Paul, I suppose we're going to talk a little bit, just picking up on the thread really as well of this. Nathan Heaney's 18-0 record, 6 KOs, 34 years old. And we talked about, obviously, this is a British title fight here. But where do you think Nathan Heaney's ceiling actually is? How far do you reckon he can go? Can he get to that European level you were talking about, obviously, with Ty and Adeli there? Can he go beyond that? Can he even go to world level? How far do you reckon he can go, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have even, before, again, but going back before the Bentley fight, if you had have said to me that Nathan Heaney was going to win a British title, I would have said unbelievable. And I'm sure he would have been chuffed with that as well. Like, British title is, a lot of people's, that's what they want to achieve when they turn professional. In boxing, such a historic and esteemed belt, the Lonsdale belt. And you know what? I think that apart from the British, I put it this way: I don't ever see him becoming world champion. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's just too many world class fighters because we're putting him in at number 5 or so in Britain. Never mind the whole world, right now. So I do. On his day, could he win the European? It's one of those where a fight between Nathan Heaney and Tyler Denny would be an intriguing one because I'd say you'd have a lot of people actually backing Nathan Heaney to win that. So if he was to win that fight, then obviously he is the European champion. Similarly, they're kind of similar in the sense that not a lot of people would have thought Tyler Denny would have ever, ever could ever have imagined to become European champion. And the same can probably be said for Nathan Heaney, the Stokey, in my opinion. I think he would have been delighted to become British champion as he has done. And anything more now, and I don't mean this in the nicest way possible. Like I think anything more now from Nathan Heaney, and he's definitely overachieved. Especially considering he turned over late, and he's not like a 26, 27 year old. He's 34. But for me, I don't really see him getting higher than this British level. But that's not saying that he's a great fighter, because to win a British title, you have to be pretty good, don't you? What are your thoughts, mate? How far do you think he can go?
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you, Paul. I think the European level would be a ceiling. I think if you put him in with Tyler Denny, I'm not saying I'd necessarily back him to beat Tyler Denny, but I think that'd be a close fight, and one which he could definitely win. So yeah, like you say, if he does win it, he is European champion, so you have to have him at European level. But I just don't. Yeah, you look at world level, and you look at even sort of even like Smith, obviously being around that sort of top 10. We obviously had him, Hamza Shearer's being around the top 10. Would I put Nathan Heaney in with a chance of beating those guys? No. So I don't think, to be honest with you, he would be able to elevate himself to world level, especially to get maybe sort of 15, top 15 in the world. Don't see that happening. So for me, it'd be a case of if he can maybe get that fight and maybe have a shot at the European, that'd be fantastic. But I think otherwise, yeah, British and European. But as also I'd like to say and agree with you, actually, that's not obviously diminishing his talent or the achievement of what is winning those titles, because, like you say, that's significantly more than a lot of fighters do. As well, but we're just obviously having to rank people on a world level. But Paul, we come now to the tough point, I suppose, of the video, which is the prediction point of the video. Like you said, Nathan Heaney surprising a victory over Denzel Bentley. Again, I didn't have him. I think along with a lot of people had Bentley picked beforehand to win that fight. We obviously come to Brad Paul's 18-1 record with 10 KOs, younger man, 30 years old. And he has obviously got a loss. His one loss being to your man Tyler Denny there, Paul. UD lost to Tyler Denny. So I mean, this is a close fight in my mind, and I'm not going to be chivalrous and go first with a prediction, because I'm going to have to come to you and hopefully try and piggyback off the back of it. But I think, Paul, how do you see this fight playing out? Both men similar sort of experience in ring craft. How do you see it going, Paul? Who wins, how and why?
Yeah, as you said, one's at 18 fights, one's at 19 fights. Brad Paul's a bit more of a knockout. Bit more knockout, a few more knockouts on his record. He's got 10 to Heaney's 6. Think that fight against Tyler Denny, which is for the English title, you have to remember. Excuse me. I think that Brad Pauls did put up a good fight, but ultimately Tyler Denny showed he was a class above. I think the same could happen again here. I think it could be competitive in spells, but ultimately I do see Nathan Heaney winning this fight. If he boxes anywhere near to the level he did against Denzel Bentley in November there, I don't see anything other than a Nathan Heaney victory. I would probably edge towards points. That's my prediction as of today. But yeah, Nathan Heaney points, but I do expect Brad Pauls to put up a good fight and have some success of his own, but ultimately the hitman will win it on the judges' scorecards. What about yourself?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, before that Denzel Bentley fight, I'd have probably gone Brad Pauls. Genuinely, I think Pauls. I'd probably back Pauls to maybe stop Nathan Heaney. But now after that performance he put in against Denzel Bentley, I'm actually going to go Heaney points as well. Frankly, I think, like you say, like 6 KOs and 18 fights, not necessarily a big puncher. I think he'll, but over 12 rounds, maybe he could get a late stoppage. But I actually still think it'll be a points victory, Nathan Heaney. That's the way I'm going. Guys, so that's all we've got time for this video. Let us know whether you agree or disagree on any of the points and topics raised there, where you think Nathan Heaney or indeed Brad Pauls features in a rank of British middleweights, how far Nathan Healy's ceiling is, and who you think will win and why. Paul, as always, fantastic to be joined with you, joined by you again this week. Check out the channel again. We've got obviously other previews coming up. We've got obviously Zepeda versus Hughes. We've got other reviews and previews from other shows that have been coming up. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and Paul, thank you very much for joining me.